but like she said, the blood is thicker. I see my mother in my face, but only when I travel. I run as fast as I can run, but Jack comes tumbling after. And I'm brave enough to find another way to keep things going so high, not even all your love could bring me down. They never found the magic words to change their fate. I'm half halfway home now, half hoping I can go now, 'cause I'm not big enough to house this crowd. Might destroy me, but I'd sacrifice my body. Sing and take your breath. Sing, check, run, check, run, check, sing, check, sing, check, run, check, run, check, sing, check, sing, check, run, check, run, check, run, back, sing, check, run, check, run, check, run, check, run.
Brian is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a lot of people in a little place.
You know what? I'm gonna cancel that. I got an appointment and there's no anything like it. The top is all skylights.
Gotta get you sisters together. Because I have no black and no color film because I shot it all in the thing. So, but we can make a digital picture and print it. But because digital is so poor quality, you have to get your faces near each other.
Okay.
Okay, you can get down.
Okay.
I think you should go up. But we have a Navajo. We should have a cell phone on each side. Seems appropriate somehow. Okay, you're in the shadow, Amanda. Yeah. Okay. You get your faces fairly close now. Try to get close to your faces so you can see what you look like this time in life. Interesting. You should try and get yourself so you have the same look, like you're 3/4 ring and she's full front.
Oh, so like.
So do various
like this?
turns. Do various turns, like towards each other, then slowly rotate opposite.
Well.
You know what I mean? So you can watch your faces at this stage. Wait.
It'll be really scary.
What will?
But you got to keep your head
Well,
close
I
together.
don't know. I don't really don't think I look like you, but then people tell me I do.
You do.
But I don't. We have totally different eyes.
You're really the differences, not the similarities, though.
Our color is the same.
Your
Yeah,
teeth
you have a
the
little
same.
nose. I have a big mouth.
We have
But you have the
freckles.
same nostrils, same
We
teeth.
have cheekbones, mouth. That's
I guess I
same
just.
forehead.
You're quite right, Amanda. It's just related to the differences, but there are similarities that you aren't including
sure.
in that particular.
I look more like her than I do like you.
This is true.
You know what was funny actually? When Henri and Monique saw me, they said, wow, Alyson looks a lot more like Kathy. And I thought,
They haven't
No
seen me
way.
since I was in 7th grade.
no, they said they saw you like a couple years ago.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
A couple years ago, no way.
Huh.
Oh,
You looked the same in 7th grade though. You basically haven't changed.
that's what I think. Of course, I see myself every day.
No, you look the same. So do I. Basically, I haven't
Yeah.
changed as much since 16.
I think that's right, true.
Anyway, I should get to work.
Work.
1 o'clock.
Is there anything you want? No, wait a minute. It's time for the letter to your future self.
Well, yeah, but why
Doing a time capsule?
Yes,
No.
time capsule time.
get her? You get me all the time.
Together, just together. You know, where do you guys want to be? Now, when you're sitting side by side, I'm 60 in 2 weeks. So when you're 60, how do you want to be when you're two little old ladies sitting side by side?
I want to be able to smoke cigarettes again.
That's a lofty goal.
Is there anything you want to tell your 60-year-old self about now? Because you can open this when you're 60.
Sorry if I squandered all the money. I wish for great health and energy. And good looks wouldn't be so bad either.
What is it about now that you want to be sure you remember then because you don't remember 40 years ago?
Let's see. It's been 1 year since I've been in Chapel Hill. I want to remember how much I've grown to like it recently after being freaked out the first month or two. And thinking now that I might spend the rest of my life in North Carolina, and it'll be interesting to see where I would going to be in, let's see, it'll be 30 years, 31 years. More than twice my life.
What's the most wonderful thing about now that you want to remember then?
John.
What about him?
What about him?
Yeah, what's the most wonderful
You know,
thing?
being with him, going to the movies with him.
What's distinctive with anybody? But what's distinctive about him? He's going to change. You're going to change. The things that he is now that are wonderful will be different. Just like the first time you got laid. You know?
What's so wonderful about him now?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
all of the
particular
jokes that he tells me. We talk so much and laugh so much. We have very similar senses of humor. Lots of the same references, things that wouldn't be funny to anybody else. That, you know, I can always turn to him and know he gets the joke. So.
What are some of the most wonderful things at this stage?
At what?
At this stage.
The stage
At this
of my-
age, yeah.
This
It'll be
age?
different. You know, when you're 60-year-old.
Oh, health, darling.
That's the most wonderful thing, yeah.
Oh, feeling, you know, the endless possibilities of life are, you know, before you.
What's your career?
My career right now, I'm a graduate student in cell biology, and
But what do you want?
What do I wanna
when
be?
You're 60
What am-
at this career, the timeline.
I'll still want to be a scientist working at the bench. I like
What
doing.
will be the most wonderful level of achievement in your career that you'll get?
That's a good question. Actually, I've always wondered that. Like, what do you-
Whatever it is I'm doing now, that it maintains. You know, getting published once a year, or having work that's good enough to be published once a year,
Is it
which is what
subject?
I've been doing.
What's the subject that's so interesting?
Receptors.
Is there a love of subject that's going to evolve that you can foresee and are excited?
I've very always been interested in receptors and agonists and how cells communicate from the outside world and how they translate messages into the inside and make life go. That's what I'll probably be ending up doing is
Do you feel a
receptor
sense of
research.
vision? Do you feel a sense of that you're on something that you know you're going to be expanding your consciousness around that one particular thing that you're really going to understand?
Yes.
I have a question. This is an ethics question. Given what's happening with technology, and you can imagine 30 years from now, what will possibly have happened with genetics and the kind of struggles that are going to go on morally and ethically with people? Do you feel like you have like a particular moral stance that you would want to, like, if you looked back 30 years, you would say, wow, you know, I really believed that I wouldn't believe this now, but I do, or something.
No, I think
Like something that you would want to remind yourself. When I was 30, I said I would stand by this, but you know, after time has sort of eaten away at.
You want to
Do-
stand in the pixels?
I think, you know, I think my morals and ethics when it comes to biotechnology are pretty well defined now and leave little room. You know, I mean,
What are they?
I don't think, you know, I'm not very keen on patenting of, like, the patenting of embryonic cell lines, you know, the stem cells that have been making the news so much lately. There's only one group of people with patents on a very small select group, so I don't think that, and like patenting of genes. You know, this is an interesting subject because on the same hand I am on a patent for a gene,
Right.
because I helped discover one, which I think that is sort of cool, but on the other hand, I don't think that genes should be patented.
Right. Well, so will your personal, your
Will it
personal
erode?
drive to, well, your need for recognition and success, will that
That's you.
turn that off? Will that sort of like override your moral stance of?
Well,
At
no,
least-
I mean, no, because what's the really important ethical boundary to me, and like whether or not genes are patented or not, I mean, that's not going to make that big of an impact on society as much as, say, cloning a human, or using genetic therapy to improve your looks, or to make sure that your baby has blue eyes, cosmetic things like that. I do believe that that gene therapy should be used to improve the health of human beings if you can. If you know for a fact that your child has a 1 in 4
At what
chance
cost?
of
Where's the cost line?
that's a gray area, but I think that anything cosmetic is
Sure.
is wrong, but anything for the improvement of health is
Not anything.
you have a medical
Well, that's the
obligation if you have the
continuum.
tools to improve the quality of life. But then you have a very where would dwarfism lie? It's something that's not necessarily detrimental to your health. However,
So-
you could make a good quality of life
Right. See, I
argument.
think the line between what is health and what is cosmetic is going to be blurry.
It is. It
Yeah.
already is. But on the other hand, you can't tell people not to get a nose job or a boob job if they want.
Right.
So.
But when you start actually,
It's
that's
doing it to
that's
your-
sort of after the fact. When you get in and start tinkering with the machinery, like where's that going to leave us? Like even in the grand scheme of evolution, does that mean
Well,
that
you could
we're going to
make-
stop evolving?
I mean,
Because
I
we've
would make
decided to
I would
evolve
make the
ourselves?
argument that we are products of nature, and therefore
Everything
the
we do
tools
is
that we
nature.
create is nature, and so we are evolution. I mean, it's speeding up, but it has been.
But it's not just everything we create, it's some of the things we create and decide not to use, like A-bombs or whatever. Sometimes it's the restraint from the judgment, in what you do with this power. And that's, I think, what she's asking about is this line of the judgment. You can see all these erosions happening, and you can see people who have moral integrity who are trying to hold a really...
Oh yeah,
and
and
define.
it's sure to happen. I mean, there are people trying to clone humans and trying to create horrible bioweapons. And those is the there have always been troublemakers in the woodpile. It's their toys are just getting more sophisticated. But I mean, it's just it's ignorant to pretend that it's not going to happen.
Sure.
Like trying
of
to
course.
cut off funding for stem cell research. I mean, it's going to happen. People are going to be able to develop this into great technology, and it's also going to be used for some not so great things. But
Always
instead of
is.
trying to forbid anything from happening, you should try to regulate.
Decide where it's
Yeah.
really useful.
Yeah, decide where it's useful and try to
Relevant.
promote that at the same time. I mean, then you'll have you'll be closer to the problem, or you'll be closer to the issues.
Okay, now, I had a very good question I wanted to ask you. It was when you were 60. Oh, no. Damn. So I guess you're busy listening.
Stoner.
Right? No, I was just thinking about when you were 60, what do you think will be, like if you're going to predict now, from what you see now, just for the fun of seeing, what happens to what seems to
What's
be
going to happen to
real.
biotechnology in 30 years?
Yeah, and
Ooh.
especially what's going to happen to you.
What's going to happen to me? Not much is going to happen to me. I mean, I think we probably will have a lot of impact on the technology that occurs, but in terms of benefiting from it, I think once you're we're already on our destiny tracks. I mean, I'm probably still going to have a similar lifespan. However, a child that I have might have a lifespan of 120 years. But it's possible that the cure for cancer will be commonplace in 20, 30 years, which is why I'm hoping I can smoke cigarettes again. That would be the only way. But cancer is...
It's a noble
Yeah,
cause to fight.
Cancer is a noble cause to
My
fight.
brother's dying of it
Lung
right
cancer,
now.
certainly. And the cure for cancer is not that far away. The puzzle is almost completely unlocked.
Really? What do you mean? My brother's dying of cancer right
Two.
now. I'm going in 2 weeks.
There are all sorts of different mutations that cause cancer, and that's sort of one of the tricky things about it. It's not like cystic fibrosis. There's one gene that mutates. There's one particular mutation that occurs. Cancer, it can be all sorts of things, and it's usually a lot of different mutations that the straw that breaks the camel's back. You actually get a disease because your DNA is mutating all the time, and it just depends on where the mutations occur. Is it in a dangerous area or is it a benign area? It's not going to matter.
Yep.
So, just as we learn more about it, the closer we become to a cure, then we're almost completely. We almost understand it inside and out. I mean, there's a lot to know, but I mean, the tools that we have are getting better and better, and all of the research that people have done are going to be, it's all going to be compiled in huge databases. You're going to be able to take a blood sample from somebody or a biopsy from somebody and say, okay, this is exactly what's wrong. These are the exact mutations that you have, and also given your particular genotype, you're not going to respond to chemotherapy A, but you will to B. and or whatever the therapy is that's being used that day.
Wow.
So there are antibody therapies too. You'll be able to just inject an antibody that only recognizes the one cell that's malignant, the one cell type. So everything
if
else.
she had stage 4 lung cancer right now, where would you tell her to do or go?
Stage 4 lung cancer. Surgery is probably the only thing, and chemotherapy and radiation.
It's metastasized to the bones.
It's that's not good. So
there's nothing. If you had a family member, you would.
with
your
I don't know
knowledge
that
and
much about
information-
lung cancer. I know quite a bit about leukemia, but that's
So with your information in general, the cancer. Come in. Are the cancer centers or something?
Dana.
Is there anything on this tape?
If it's even our tape, it's not anything.
Okay, good. I assume the protection track would have been done if it was something important. So, yeah.
Hey.
You know Alyson, don't you? You met her?
Hi, Alyson.
This is what's left of Mantha now that he's gone GI. Oh, we still love you. You just have to get used to it. Give me 24 hours. I'm a hair guy. Okay, now, you in that many years, when you're 60, who do you want to be now, given your values now and stuff? You know what I mean? What are your dreams come true?
just to always work for the the benefit of health, not for to reduce obesity, or something like that, or to solve hair loss. I would much rather do something like
Cancer.
cure cancer.
Right. What they'll do. What are you thinking? Amanda's thinking something.
Just then, I was thinking of asking, like, what if someone came to you out of the blue to work for their
Their anti-hair loss.
their anti-obesity gene firm? Would you do it?
Not if I had a normal job. If I was starving to death, maybe.
No more questions?
I don't know.
You're going to send a time capsule 30 years into the future. There's nothing else you... What would you wish? How about this one? When you're 60, what do you think you would wish you'd asked your 30-year-old self?
She can't
Like
know.
this.
She's not 60.
No, you can conjecture. You can, when you think about it from that frame, just put your mind in the window.
You
and go,
can. You're 60.
Why did you smoke all those cigarettes in your 20s?
Yeah, but you knew why.
I know why.
We'll know why.
I know why. Well, if there's
Born
anything
bad.
that I'm doing to my health now that I'm unaware of, say like there's some chemical in the lab that I'm working with now that has repercussions on my health in 30 years that I don't know about, why didn't you be more careful?
Amanda.
I have a question. In terms of your family, and this would be John and the family that you will purportedly have at some point, but also in terms of John and Kathy and me, what would you say over the next, few decades you would wish for the family dynamics?
For the family dynamics?
Yeah. Is there anything you wish would happen? Could happen, even if it's sort of a fantasy?
Well, Mom and John chill out. That everybody just gets along, but we're not that bad.
No.
No.
There's worse.
There's worse. Yes.
But would you wish that you could, at some point, actually have, a closer relationship with Mom or with John or with me? Or would you...
It would always
assume
be
that things
nicer
will
to be closer to you, in proximity and in relationship.
Yeah.
But, we're both so busy.
It's true.
Yes.
This doesn't seem real. With brother dying of cancer, I was trying to get this other perspective where, one of the things you didn't wish for example, was that you spent more time with your dog or your grandfather, or, you know what I mean? Which is something people often do in this. They say, oh, I wish I had spent more time before Uncle Charlie went, or you know what I mean? But you didn't wish for that, interestingly.
That I didn't wish that?
Just watching the patterns. I also do when I'm making up, or women making up. And there's these patterns of things that people do or don't do. It's just interesting because when you see 30 people, you start to notice there's patterns. It's fascinating. Maybe someday we'll put them all together. Now we have an editing thing upstairs.
Yeah,
Be
that's
fun.
a sweet machine.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have
you know,
I have a request to make while we're on
Yes.
record, which is that when you do have kids, I want quality time with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the quality of your
Yes.
time together?
Ours?
Now, yeah.
There isn't much of it.
You don't have much time or much quality? Or both? Because
Well,
it's
no.
Well,
it's
the
not much
time, I
time.
think the time that we spend with each other is
Good.
all good. You know, we certainly don't fight like we used to when we were living together.
Do you feel like you know who she is?
Yeah,
Who is she?
Amanda.
What's her essence? I mean, what do you...
She's Amanda. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
but-
nobody else who's Amanda. She's my
That's
sister.
true, but there's nobody else who's the family
There's,
dog.
I have always thought about Amanda as the one person who's going to be always the most like me, you know, both genetically and environmentally. No one else has grown up in the house that I grew up in except for her. No one else had the parents that I had.
That's the very weird thing about our relationship is that despite our extreme superficial differences, which are, 90%, we have completely different lives, different, but we still have this fundamental thing that connects us, which comes out when we play Pictionary together.
Pictionary? What's
Yeah.
that?
Oh, we know we can whip anybody's ass when we play Pictionary.
Pictionary, I would, it's almost a...
It's like a charades on paper game.
Yeah, you have a word or something that you're trying to, and you can't speak. You have to draw. So,
But
and it's usually a race. You know, you're racing against another.
But you've got a
Pair or
partner,
trio.
and
When you
it's,
guys
it's
team
the
up.
connected
Yeah.
intuitiveness.
Right, you
that we
pick
have.
cards that have words on them.
Because you have common experiences
Totally.
and so on.
Yeah.
And no one else would probably even know. But you probably get halfway through the
Right.
broomstick and everybody knows.
It's more than that. I think also our brains are wired similarly. I mean, because obviously your brain is wired through genetics and environment. And so, something that is going to make sense to me intuitively makes sense to her.
Huh. Do you experience that often?
Yes.
Do you have psychic connections
We-
sometimes, like twins do? Or
When she fell down the stairs, I knew before I could have figured out what had happened.
And it was weird.
Yeah, I remember telling the person in the room that Amanda had fallen down the stairs, and then we actually, opened the door, went outside, and found her, and she had indeed fallen off the stairs. That's the one incident that comes to mind.
do you have any reverses where you...
I don't think so.
In what way do you guys feel closest?
References, we found the same kind of things funny, the same, movie quotes. As, you can describe a situation easily by pulling out a quote from a movie that we're both fond of. I see that happens a lot with John too. It's a sort of a similar language when it comes to a sense of humor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
important.
Yeah. What would you want from her kids if she wants that from yours?
The same thing. I want influence time.
How do you want to influence them?
Oh, the influence, just, this, I'm your aunt, and
But there's something
Because
you
we
want
also
to
because
pass.
we don't have any other siblings, so I'll never have. If I have nieces and nephews, they'll only be Alyson's. So
well, then you'll have your,
What does he
your
want to
partner's
pass on?
brother or sister.
that's the well, yeah, but you never know. If that's going to be the case.
Alyson, what is it you want to pass on that you feel is part of what you've inherited as the good things in your family that you want to pass on to your kids and hers?
Doesn't necessarily come from our family.
Well, no, but you have good things that came
I
that are
would
part
say-
of being.
I would say
the sisters.
political values that we definitely inherited from our parents that I would pass on.
Women? How about as women? Is your mother does she have worthy things to offer? Aside from her whatever. What is her whatever? At this point, in 60, when she'll probably be dead.
She is almost 60.
I'm saying when you're 60.
as a woman, I definitely admire her independence and her energy and her ability to travel alone. And
She I would say that we are going to pick up where she left off because she couldn't go any further.
Where'd she leave off?
she hurt her back. So
No.
she's-
I'm
she's
talking.
not
I'm talking
traveling at all.
emotionally and fundamentally, because she wants desperately to project the image of a totally independent woman, this, that, and the other thing. But it's like that thing that we always talk about, how she missed the '60s. She missed the '60s, and she knows
Never
it, and
quite
she's
got over
still
it.
trying to. And she's still trying to make up for what she missed because she got married early and she had kids. And she got tied down to domestic
So is that
life.
what you mean by carrying on? You're going to be being the person that she wasn't able to do because she
Sort
had you?
of.
Well, is it going to
Well,
happen
there was
to
always
you?
a certain leniency about how we conducted our social lives. That I think was a result of that
And she
Yeah.
tried very hard.
Like
to
all
be
our
liberal.
friends were always allowed to, smoke and drink, until all hours of the night her explanation was, well, if you're going to smoke and drink, I'd rather you do it at our house rather than, in the woods.
In the woods.
So, and I guess that makes certain sense. Plus, she knew I wasn't going to drive anywhere afterwards.
Right.
No, they were very, as far as relatively where we grew up, they were really liberal parents.
Yeah, Amanda's boyfriend used to spend the night, in her junior year of high school. That's one thing I never forgave you for, because I wasn't even allowed to have boys on the second floor.
I
Ugh.
got it good.
Amanda just totally flagrantly violated the rules. No, I was much more discreet. Broke the same rules, but they just never found out. Amanda's like, okay, whatever the punishment's going to be, bring it on.
Yeah, that frustrated her to know that.
It did.
What are you going to do? Take me out of the house? Yes. Okay, bye. I'm moving over to Jason's.
I need some more water. Can we take a break?
Sure, I can break it too if you want.
Oh, no, it's all right. I need to get up off of
Are you guys okay to do this? Because you'll be glad later.
Having kids. This has been a pressing issue in my mind.
In your mind biologically, or your mind or your body?
Yeah, I mean...
Which one has been an issue?
Well, biologically, I was just telling Amanda earlier, our grandmother went through menopause at age 35. So, and there's a genetic correlation, so it's kind of... it's not a huge rush.
How old are you?
I'm going to be 29 in a couple of months. So, not a big rush, but it's... And the other part is that since I'm in graduate school now, there's a lot of flexibility in my schedule. So it's actually a pretty good time to have an infant. So, been thinking about it. I know I'm not ready right now, and I'm wondering if it's one of those things that's like you never feel ready, but you're ready to be ready, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We have a cousin in that position. Maureen thought a child would save her marriage.
And moved out halfway through the pregnancy.
Really?
Well, moved back in.
Then moved back in.
What habits do you have that are the same? Do you curl your hair when it's that long?
We both bite our fingers. She bites her nails, though.
Let's see your hands.
Oh!
She does her fingers, she does her nails down to the quick, and I do around the edges. Wonder Twins, activate!
Form of an ice cube.
Form of a walrus. I should get to work.
Okay.
Thank you, gals. Okay, Amanda Palmer. It is now 2015. Time for another letter to your future self.
Seems like a really good moment, because we're about to get in the car, you and me, to drive off to Woodstock so that me and baby daddy can go down to Tennessee and bust this baby. And we will do the second half of the interview with the deep shit when we get out to Bearsville, which is actually probably symbolically important because that's the transitional space now.
What do you mean?
Well, that is currently the closest thing that Neil and I have to a home together. Get the full kabah, whatever this is.
What do you mean, whoever?
Whoever this is.
8 foot and 8 pound. Look at that belly. Is he going to move at all?
No,
Okay.
he's sleeping.
Well, I guess then we should move.
Alright, are you ready to go on this adventure with me?
Let's go.
Alright, let's go, crazy Uncle Lee.
Lead on. Oh, you should have danced all night.
I should have danced all night. You know what? I'm fucking 39. I danced all night for years. I'm ready to just have a baby.
What's that in your tummy, Amanda Palmer?
It's a baby. Person. Boy.
So the last one wound up being a lot about Alyson, and you were kind of a foil. What are you being quiet? You're the subject.
You're the interviewer.
All right. Well, if you want to interview, then this is welcome back to your time capsule.
Ready?
Okay. You want to come and get videoed before we set off on this grand adventure?
Yeah. This is a little video letter, a time capsule where you're going to send a letter to your future self.
It's a time capsule for us and this being.
Run.
Run to save yourself. Get out now while you can.
He wants to get out. Well, he can. He's ready to come out. He's got 3 weeks left.
I know.
Maybe. I was saying to Neil, you better be psychologically prepared for this baby to come out today, just in case.
You never know.
You don't ever know.
I think he's prepared.
I'm prepared for a week.
So where do you want to be in 15 years?
I don't care.
Mm-hmm. I know where Neil wants to be.
Neil probably has an idea of where he wants to be. Let's see, in 15 years, the kid will be
15, 14.
14. Neil will want to be somewhere in a home with the kid around, writing books all day, having dinner with his wife, and then watching a movie and going to bed. Picking up occasional awards when he feels like it. Right?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to remember about now?
When you put it like that, it just seems so...
Mundane.
I feel like I failed you.
I think we complement each other beautifully.
Where would I like to be in 15 years? In 15 years from now, I will be 70.
You'll be younger than me and she'll be your age.
And you'll be my age. And I would very much like to... I would like to be settled. I'd like to have a home. I'd like to have a place that I live that makes me happy, even if it's next door to where Amanda lives. Don't mind where I hope I get to go back to the Isle of Skye a lot in the intervening time. That's my happy place. I hope I get to show the baby and then the boy all sorts of cool things.
Where do you want him to be?
Whatever he wants to be.
Of course, I just meant, okay, some people have not a literal image, but a quality, no?
I always figure that the only thing that I've learned from being a dad now 3 times is you kind of have nothing to do with it. These people show up. And sometimes they are the people they're going to be from literally the word go. They open their eyes after birth and the person is there. Sometimes the person isn't really there for 6 months or a year, but you're still dealing with the person in front of you, and it's not like you get to decide that you want a child who is anything. What you actually have to do is look at the child in front of you and help them on the road to being an adult, and listen to them and believe them and tell them stories at night and read to them. I brought a copy of James Thurber's book, The 13 Clocks, to read to Amanda at night. So I'm going to be reading that to her in the hopes that the little one is listening. And that gets to be the first book that I've read him.
Oh, he just popped up. He's right here. Wait. There's a hard baby there.
Yeah, that's a butt.
Probably his butt.
That's a baby butt.
Why just make him now, huh? Get it over with.
No corporal punishment on the baby. Not yet. Yeah.
So nothing you want to put in the time capsule?
This is what I looked like. This is what I looked like 15 years ago, and I thought I was looking old. This morning Amanda looked at me and she said, "I've got a secret to tell you, your hair actually is grey now."
He had this theory that when he got a haircut it would turn back to black.
No, I had a theory that it would not look as grey, because it comes grey out of the sides but it's darker at the top. But it's also thinning. So this is what you looked like when you still had hair, and there was still some dark stuff in there, and you could see and speak.
Before you were just a drooling old cripple.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute, I'm 73 and You know, so it
in
ain't
really
that
good
bad up
shape.
here. You know.
Yeah,
Got a role model.
but Amanda is convinced that I will.
I'm not convinced of anything.
What, you're going to become a decrepit old writer, hobbling out to your studio?
I'm an ancient writer. As long as I'm still writing, I'm perfectly happy to be an ancient writer.
How many times have you changed? Where you felt as a different person, almost?
Well, I'm pretty much. I think I've been the same since the beginning.
Really? How about you, April?
I've changed a couple times. I definitely changed. I remember having one big change when I was 15, where I just, it's like if you were looking at your life as a line, and there's places where there are sharper angles where you turned. There was a big turn when I was 15. There's another one when I met Brian and moved into the Cloud Club all at the same time. And moving into the Cloud Club was a soft turn, and then meeting Brian really kicked my ass into another way of being. It's when I stopped being lazy and just started working all the time.
And now you're going through another change, right?
Yeah. And then actually, hooking up with Neil wasn't that dramatic because I was so insistent on keeping my life as I liked it, which is part of the reason he got in the door. He convinced me I wouldn't have to take a huge turn. This is a huge turn. This counts.
Yep.
Yeah, but I didn't have to convince you on this one. This one was us. This one was.
Yeah.
I think you felt it was time.
I don't know if it's time, but it's happening anyway.
Well,
Not much we can do at this point.
So if little wee one was watching this in 15 years, and he'd be the age that
He's moving around right now.
the age you met Brian.
I was 25.
Oh, I thought you said 15. You had a change.
I was 15. I had a real change in high school when I got perspective on my life for the first time and stood back and said, "Wait a second. I really don't have to be popular. I really don't have to try to impress all of these people. I don't have to try to be, I don't have to try to be popular. I don't have to try to be accepted. I don't have to be winning the attention of my sister. I really am allowed to just go off and create an entirely new persona that just belongs to me." And I just ditched. I had been following the script really hardcore in a lot of ways, and I just burned it. Overnight. I just made a decision. And I guess I had looked around and looked at enough other people doing it that I was like, if all these other people can do it, all of these artists especially, I'm done. I threw away all of my pink clothes. I stopped trying to get Alyson to be nice to me, and I just went off in my own direction completely. And it was so liberating and so enjoyable. And that was a good move. I don't know how it would have turned out if I hadn't done that. Anthony was a big part of that too. I knew he would love me, even if I transitioned into a freaky weirdo.
My goal for this year is to wear a lot of pink and get Alyson to like me.
Yeah. I'll show you how to do it. You have to match your sock color to the scrunchie in your hair that is holding up your ponytail. That was really important to me in 7th grade, that my hair accessories matched my socks. And then it was all over.
Somewhere there's an alternate universe. If I walk far enough, I will find the Amanda Palmer who cares about that stuff and who she grew up to be.
Well, it's so common at that age. Whatever I was then. I was 4, those years, those dark, dark years of 12, 13, 14 of just being terrified all the time of not being accepted. And
I was fine on that because I was a weirdo outsider from always. So I
you
never.
didn't even try? I tried.
I never tried. There was no point. I made my own groups. I made my own punk band. I did the stuff.
When you were 12?
No, when I was 15, going on 16, I did the punk band.
That's what I did.
That was the point where
That's where I turned. But
until
there
that-
was a dark period there where I really was just desperate to be liked and included by the top of the hierarchy.
I'm going to leave you, check the last two things, and then grab water and tea, and then we can hit the road once Lee has finished with you.
I'm
Good
pretty
job.
ready to go. Oof.
Are you gonna make a move?
I think it's time to make a move.